Now, I'm just going to go back to a reminder, and I'm going to have a chat about it. So I had a blank moment chatting about things on this video here, and hopefully I'll be able to bring it up. That's why I'm starting from now. I'm doing this from now because of the issues I've already had. So some people go, why are you doing that? Right? Like I've had in some comments. And that's because I've had previous issues. I'm studying something. I'm trying to work out something. And the last thing we need and all those things is some idiot to come in with bullshit. So you might see some comments from me or outcomes from me because I might think that you're just a person wasting time, a time waster, or a person that wants to bully, or just an idiot. You know what I mean? The habitual time wasters. No one wants to be one of them. So anyway, I'm just going to stop this now, hopefully. So I've got to go back to a little bit, have a listen, and then I'll have a chat about it. As I talked about, that sometimes you have memory blanks when you're busy here and there and you've got something in your mind. And that's why I don't like rushing, because when you start to rush, it's hard to do what you need to do. So you try not to rush too much in areas. If it's standard work, it's not too bad. It's important work. You wouldn't want to be doing it too much, rushing in important work. But anyway, so let's see what happens here. This phone holds its information, because a lot of times I can do a video like this near the end after it's done a few videos and they disappear, or they're pending, or some issue that just drives me nuts and I can't go check it straight away. And we've looked at the phone, and it shouldn't do that standardly, but it seems to do that kind of stuff. And when you have that issue, you talk like I am until we can solve that issue. And Emma's had a look at it a few times, and she's better at me when it comes to phones, so she spends more time. So usually I get her to have a look at things. I haven't had a complete look at myself and gone through that area, so I've got a lot of other things to do. But as far as she's concerned, it just likes to do things like that every now and then. Isn't that right, Emma?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm studying it.
When it comes to pending and the issues it's having with the video, it seems to just do that, and things are malfunctioning.
Do that. And
Yeah.
you just gotta wait for them to come.
And when they disappear, it's a malfunction. Apparently, that's what Emma's outcome is.
Still pending, I don't know.
Or she don't know. Yeah. But anyway, that's all right. You can always go back on this clip one day. As I've said, a lot of clips sometimes when it comes to certain areas, you might cherish more later. When you got time, then you go, oh, I didn't know that and all this. Or when when things are gone, this will always be there to check up. So I've been discussing to people lately about, there's not one person out there that I know of, close to me, that I talk to face to face, that actually knows all my videos. They wouldn't know them all. And so there's legacy left there if I was to disappear tomorrow, kind of thing. Which is a cool thing about video and sharing. That's it. The internet is still around. That legacy can be still around. But it's definitely is with mine. If people go through my junk, if they ever want to look, there's always a chance there, and then chance not. They're just into money and not caring and not really realising things, not educated to see certain things, and just throw away hard drives, because I've got things on hard drives as well. And when it comes to deaths, it's always good to go through paperwork and hard drives, because you might find things that you just didn't know about, or that you need to know about, and that would help you even heal, or make you even feel worse. But then in the end, that can show you something, a lesson in life to help you heal after that, so it doesn't happen again to you or others. That's why we communicate and do such things. Yeah, let's just stop this. Just see if I can get back into the video. Just clearing off some mail junk there. Phone. We still got it. Good news. Most of the time it's good news than the bad, which is good. So I'm just going to cruise to, I think it's roughly 47. I might go back a little bit. Skills was beautiful for me. What do you reckon? That's hard. It's a good one. It's getting a lot of hours. Yeah, could you just move by TV? And you guys, if you can, like I asked when I get caught, phone calls and stuff like that, and during my correction, interview kind of thing, safety and all that. So babies tend to be a bit noisy. Definitely if I'm extra noisy. Thank you, babies. Hold that up. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be able to hear it properly because I'm just standing in the room. Let's have a listen. And I'll continue to talk about what I was going to do before I had a memory blank, which you might hear about soon on this clip. Yeah, that's everybody. It all depends on what your circumstances are, your brain, and the education and all that for how many memory blanks you have. Because sometimes you get a memory blank because you just don't know. But now, so the whole conversation. Now let's get closer here. Now this phone doesn't have very good sound quality. Smile away. And when it comes to those bad guys and the noise, we all have noise, and I've said that before. Noise is good to have every now and then, don't hurt. How's that? We just had some noise too. When it comes to pulling bark off the trees and stuff like that, try to get the balance where, which I have to do when I was video now. Now what I'm talking about there is noise and balance. And I like noise and all that kind of stuff, and we all like to do certain things, but some people don't. And so you need to fit in, so you don't want to annoy people too much, because when you annoy them, the more people you annoy, the more likely people will try to stop you for what you're doing. Isn't that right, Emma? So the best when it comes to noise is try not to have too much noise, right? And as I was talking about pulling off bark and collecting flowers and stuff like that, if there's plenty, it doesn't hurt to do something for the good. And definitely if you're showing for the good, donating for the good, healing yourself, and that's nature, giving back. Nature should be able to give back to certain people at certain times, not for profit all the time. If you're doing it for profit, right, and a profit thinking, and you don't need to do it, and you just keep doing that, and you're overdoing it, then you're doing a sin, right? And that's what I was talking about when it comes to noises. If there's noises going around too much in town, well, someone in town needs to step up and go, look, there's been too much noise. The man is go, look, if you love doing noise, I hear that you love revving around, right? You're not angry and all these kind of things is why these noises and these people are revving around. And so what we need to do to fix this problem, and it keeps happening a lot, is we'll make an area for you to go rev around. Would that help fix this problem? And if I do that and we continue this problem, I'm just going to have to up the punishment and stuff like that. Would you agree with that? Instead of just upping the punishment now, wouldn't it be good if I work with you? Is the outcome is what I was saying when it comes to noise, right there. There's a balance, right? And we need the higher people to show us what that balance is. And if things go out of balance, which they will constantly get tested, the raptor and new people and not knowing, and things will happen. But the sooner you approach it and fix it, the sooner it'll go away. And see, if you start seeing people picking too much flowers, all these things, you come on the TV, you make a meeting, you somehow spread the word on the radio station that what's happening is too much, it needs to stop, we understand this and that, and we need to let it heal, and hopefully we can approach it better next time after what we're doing now with the radio, and maybe even have a get together in a group community thing about why it was happening, and come and talk about it. And you can even go to church and go heal yourself if you believe that you were part of that situation and you just want to move on and change yourself. The church will allow you to do that and feel better to do that, right? Repent your sins and you will stop doing it, kind of thing. And so that's what I was talking about right there. I decided, because I talked a bit, to make a clip about it. I get like that sometimes. This is why I tell Leno, it's like, that's why I like things recorded all the time. I can go back. Issues at the time. A lot of pieces don't get finished as one. It's because I had the issues at the time, and I have to get back to them. I can get back to them. Just going to go out and do some mowing and fill up the pool for Stella. That's what I was talking about certain issues. Now, just got to skip it back to where it was because it stopped. It moved on us. Went back to the start. When I moved the phone. Go back to that. Is that work you still need. You should see, do you need to be noisy? Perhaps we've got a lot of noise around. To fix this noise, go see the mayor or something around and try to have a place where you can go be noisy as you want. Right? The mayor should agree with that, wouldn't they, Emma? So I might even make a little clip out. I've already talked about similar things to this and give hints about that love wins more likely, right? And we should head in a different direction when you look at certain sectors. And that's just one of them. See how we can fix it just like that. I can go do a day, you know, be an Albanese, you look good at TV, put out this day, that issue. Instead of complaining, while they're complaining, we'll just keep putting out these issues. And when we go to their question time, right, we can just be that. We don't have to do it over the news over and over again and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then just shut them up that way. It's the best way to change people is to let them see, right? Let them feel, let them go through and go, well, they're having this and this. Why can't we do that? Why aren't we doing that? Am I getting blackmail? I don't like getting blackmail. I can't do that because it's blackmail. I better stop this blackmail. Perhaps can I heal through this? How long is it going to take me to heal? Now, I talk about that kind of stuff, blackmail, because we hear here in Australia, we're hearing that there's bikie gangs, which I'm hearing a lot lately, more than ever, haven't we? When it comes to bikies, it's just a coincidence, but I can talk about it, that we've got a lot of noise around here. And I like to bring that up about intimidation and the things that I've talked about being bullied. And I wouldn't know about certain areas because when they intimidate you, you got to guess it yourself. That's what intimidation behind the scenes is when it comes to these corrupted areas and organisations. When I was last walking around and doing my videos and I found the snake and all that kind of stuff, at that moment, you would see on those videos walking to McDonald's from here when I lost my licence, of bikie gangs turning up. And me talking about the bikie gangs at that time and my thought of them, as everything has a negative and positive about it. Now, what kind of gangs do you have? Do you have one that's a balanced gang, a right gang, necessary gang, supply gang, gang just for profit and because you want to do, because you can do? What gang do you have? Right? There's honest gangs. There's gangs that get to work with the government sometimes because of the way they are. And then there's some gangs that can definitely not, you know what I mean? Toolbox, trying to fix all my problems so nothing comes up. And when it comes up, you're there for it or feel for it. So when it does come up, for big issues that you don't like and haven't come up, sometimes things in life never come up. Right? So what you do is you just prepare for it. When you want to heal that thing, you go, well, if it does come, this is what I can do. And you can tweak it as you can get older in life and think of something better. But this is the plan now until I know something better. And this is what I'm going to do if that ever occurs. Right? Bad guys think about that all the time as they do bad shit. Is this worth it? Cops can get rid of time. Yeah, babies, hear yourselves. Yeah. As I know, some people like some numbers just as much as I'm interested. In fact, they've studied it longer and they would know more than what I do or have another theory about them. With a bang, with the best of what you got, you're going to go. And that's what I'm going to do. Soon I'm going to shut down here. And that might not, doesn't mean things are gone, doesn't mean it's completely gone. Definitely you'll leave a little bit up, which is what it is. As I'll come back with the last little, edit known version of what that work was without putting too much work. A little bit like an upgrade, and you just do a little tweak instead of it being gone, and you can reintroduce what that is with some little work. Well, I've done that pretty much all my life, that one. Which is what I'm going to end up doing. Has that loaded up? As I can say throughout my autobiography, different stages I've been through. And changes. Alright, cool. It'll go into the one I just talked about, didn't it? That's where I got sidetracked, as you could say, when we go to get our memory blank. I just had a little memory blank. So what there we go. Again? Totally lost track. Then I ask someone around it. Sometimes they might not be listening, and even though you believe they may or may not. And so that's when we need reminders, and that happens all the time. And that's why I started this clip the way I did, because of that and many other different reasons. And so I'm just going to click now to load this up into diary. Leave it there. Diary, backyard update, and a chat. Ooh. I've been saying for like 20 years. As soon as they first come up with this, I was with my dad many years ago when they first come up with the self-writing and chat and talk. Spell it out for people who want to write essays and stuff like that. And back then, when it first come out, you know what you had to do? Do you know what you had to do, Emma? When this come out, you couldn't just do what we're doing now with the latest phones and it plays up a little bit and it depends on your way you speak and all that kind of stuff and how clear you are. You know, you had to do all that, right? Plus, you had to read a whole dictionary and make sure those words went clear. Every time you read it, got a green light, and that if you didn't, you had to keep saying that word maybe 10 times, or maybe it wouldn't get it. For a whole dictionary of thousands of words. Took you a little while, about a week roughly. You spent a good time at it, even longer. So, yeah, not many people would do it. My dad did it at that time, and he tried it out, and it sort of worked when this first come out, glitchy mode, as people said, when they get asked for radio, and it gave a different song. It worked like that a lot. And it was like, and you had to do all that work together. Right? People have done these and had to do that and studies and that to get to the point where we are now. Right? And I understand you need money to make things, but there's a too far point when it comes to those areas that we can slow down on. See, we do things right, but we go too far in a lot of areas and waste too much time and all that kind of stuff and don't spread enough information. And people don't realise what they've got and how hard it is to get to certain areas and how easy we can lose it. Like I talk about, I'd like to see the satellites fall out of the sky, but I also prefer to see them not, because it took a lot of work to get there. But if it's going to get used for the bad and could be used with AI and all that and to connect and to make it worse, as you see in Terminator, and we have those things and other problems, and it's happening to you where it doesn't work for you, then you might get an opinion to say, well, it's best that we wouldn't have it. Wouldn't you say, Emma? Yeah. And then the more people you have of that, the more of a right outcome you've got of perhaps you shouldn't be, you're not ready for it, or it's not quite right. Let's put a date here. Man, we're on the 29th today. Alright. Sometimes you always feel unfair and stuff like that, but eventually the truth comes out and you should heal. And these people in these areas should know this. They shouldn't be worried about things if they look bad at the start. As long as they know they did right, which is what I've written down in comments and a lot of things, is that as long as you know you did right and you're willing to heal or go for the punishment, or you even got something that you're prepared to do, like a lot of parents would say, how should I punish you? You got a decent punishment and stuff like that. You'll find you'll be able to heal and get through things better, knowing all those things, or have people giving you advice or helping you out to do those things. And that's about it, I think. Now let's just load up this. Private. Now private's only a certain extent when it comes to the internet, because the internet is a connection tool. That means it's not, no matter how much you think it should be personally, when it comes to connection tools, it'll never be personal, right? In the end, definitely certain outcomes happen. And so private can be checked up from companies, through companies, as you hear with Google doing things to people and all that, and a few other areas too. And they pretty much, whoever can look it up, they do it separately at the moment, which is sad, because those areas should be linked, like they link up medical areas and tax through Centrelink now and stuff like that to make things better. Those areas should always be linked and communicating and doing the similar things and be on the right path to make that area better. Because if they don't get those basic priority starts, well, they're not going to get anywhere, are they? And so hopefully we'll see that with people telling Mark Zuckerberg off in certain areas, and he's sort of understanding it. They understand it, but they're all a little bit lost about how they should all approach it singly. And that can take longer too than just getting together and making your G10s and certain things like that more in certain sectors that need to be when it comes to private companies and things that technically for everybody, but it's private and it needs government checkups in these systems to make sure that they're running right. Otherwise, perhaps they shouldn't be in private areas, which is what I've talked about when it comes to power and certain other things. Perhaps chat areas and stuff like that, if we're having problems about these private companies using lawyers and all these things against their own country, perhaps the own country, to save all this money themselves and the other people and their lawyers and all the time bullshit is to just take over that area, right? Give that threat to them and see if all that other bullshit goes away quickly. I'm sure it would, wouldn't it, Emma? If you scale, look, if you're going to bitch about anything, so I'll just take it off you and you've got nothing to bitch about. Would you think they might want to listen a bit more?
Yeah.
And the people have got the power to do that, you know what I mean? So, anyway, I'm just going to upload this. And you let me know, and I hope this helps someone that commented me about what I do. So I'm trying to update as people like a fresh update. I do understand that. That's why some things do get repeated and should for things that you need to talk about and people perhaps not talking about. We need to know at that time. Right, a quick update. And that's why I've talked about a certain person and their comments, which is this latest comments here. Of the confusion and stuff like that. Now they could be new or old. The only way to find out is to be in certain sectors, like I said. And that's why certain sectors get the power to help us study and figure out areas, so others don't. So we get a little that can do it best. That I've talked about, like the geek filling out that paperwork, that if you're semi-illiterate and you can go dig a good hole for him that he's weak because he's too busy inside, right? You do that little connection and you'll find that things will work a hell of a lot quicker than forcing the bully and beating it up and going, just do it because I can make you. And I could have done that too. I went that way and said, fuck the whole idea, right? But it's better to go the other way, isn't it? Right? And have a good one, everybody, and see you later. That's what they tell us. And what Willie would succeed collectively. And we wouldn't know when it comes to that one. So it would be even something to try and be interested, wouldn't it? Collectively, to even try that outcome and get to that outcome. And I think God and the things that we talk about religiously, all those gods, except the bad ones, perhaps in the end they'll like it too, because there's no use stealing from something you can't steal from when there's nothing, everything gets destroyed. So there is a balance where even bad guys go, come on, I think we should do this. Otherwise there's nothing. See you later.